This is a 2016 Turbo. It belongs to one of our viewers that has become one of our riding buddies. He's part of the group now. His machine had some really bad toe in. Don't know exactly what happened there, but it had 3 inches of toe in. RZR is supposed to have about an 1/8 to 1/4 inch of toe out. So that's a pretty significant difference. So I'm just going to do a really quick video here, show you how to adjust that, how to get it lined up just right, and go from there. Alright, so what I've done here is I jacked the vehicle up, took the tires off, and I've put jack stands under each ball joint. Now some of these machines, if you let the suspension droop completely, it will actually toe it in a little bit. Some of them that may not be the case, but I jacked this one up and tested it, and it did go toe in a little bit more with the suspension fully drooped. So having the jack stands way out here under the ball joints will make the suspension settle at just about the right height, as if the machine was sitting on the ground normally. That will give a pretty accurate toe adjustment here. Now what I have are these are shelf stands. They got all these nice little notched holes in them that I put on the lug nuts, or put on the studs, put a spacer and then put the lug nut on and tighten it down. It gives me a nice surface to measure from. Now what I do is, this bar is a little bit longer than the diameter of his tires. His tires are 32 inches. So I measured from the center line out 16 inches, which is half of 32, and that put it right on this hole. So I measure from the second hole in on both sides, and that'll give me an accurate measurement for his tire diameter. So what I've done is he has these nice aftermarket tie rods with Heim joints on the ends. I loosened this jam nut and ran it all the way out as far as it would go on both sides, and then I turned the tie rods in to pull the toe, or make it toe out until it was about straight. And then I counted the exposed threads to make sure that both of these were about even. By doing that, that ensures that the steering box is about as center as it can get. So right now we got about 3 threads exposed on both sides, which means the steering box should be pretty well even. And then the bar that I've measured across right here is also even from end to end. We're exactly at 63 3/4 inches. So what I'm going to do now is simply just turn this just slightly to move this in a 1/16 of an inch, or maybe an 1/8 of an inch, and that should give us a total difference of anywhere from an 1/8 to 1/4 inch from end to end. So let's give that a shot and see how it works. And like I said, I'm measuring from the second hole from the end, because that equals his tire diameter. We're at 63 3/4. So I'm just gonna, if I can get it to move, just turn this tie rod in. I'm just gonna do an 1/8 of an inch. So we'll stop right there at a 1/16 of an inch. And measure the other end. It should end up at a 1/16 over the 3/4, which is 13/16. That'll give us a difference of an 1/8 of an inch out from back to front, theoretically. Alright, again, second hole from the outside edge. Here we are, 63 3/4, 13/16. Now we have exactly an 1/8 of an inch toe out, and that's precisely what we want. The next step will simply be to just tighten these jam nuts up on both sides so that they don't try to back out. Get them good and snug, and if you want, you can roll the joint back to its level, but it won't stay that way. It will just move wherever it wants to. But I'm going to tighten the one on the other side, and then we'll measure to the center line to see if we need to straighten the steering wheel. Alright, what I did is I measured across this bracket here and found the center point, and then drew me a pencil line down this bar. You can do that on the front of your machine just with whatever's here. Just measure between 2 even points and find the center line. And then we'll measure off of our alignment bar down here, alignment bar / shelf stand. We're at 32 1/8, right to the pencil mark. We'll do the same thing on this side. And now we're at 31 7/8. So as you can see, the vehicle is trying to track a little bit to the right. So what we want to do is just move the steering till it sits right on that 32. Try to measure from the same side on both sides. I'm 3 holes out from the caliper. That's exactly 32. Exactly 32. All right. Now we have an 1/8 of an inch of toe out, and they're center with the vehicle. So now we'll check the steering wheel and see if it needs to be adjusted. All right, the steering wheel, in fact, is not exactly straight. It looks like it's one spline tooth to the left. So what we'll do is pull that off, rotate it around straight, and stick it back on. So the toe adjustment is complete. It looks much better. You look down the side of the RZR now, and the front tires look nice and in line with the rear. Got the steering wheel straight. That is another project completed. One of many. Now let's move on to the next one.